I think I gave myself a little bit of bad luck. I came in, I was trying to do all the trials at once. I saw verdict in big letters for ASAP Rocky. They do not have their verdict yet. So I am back for Monica's trial, part two. They've still been on their lunch break, but we're here. So whenever they come back, we checked in with the Zachary Hughes trial. They ended early for the day. They got through one person taking the stand for defense, and there were so many issues that they just told the jury to go home. So, crazy day for them, especially if you were with me this morning. It was 2.5 hours before they even started because there were so many issues for them. So, we're just trying to keep up and keep everything together. They should be coming back soon unless they do what they've been doing for some of their California time and they take like a 3-hour lunch. Hopefully not. They've been very good today. But I came on early just in case. Don't want to miss it. I'm going to leave myself on mute for the moment. I have been telling everybody I am still sick. I am coughing.
Monica Sementilli, defendant, is present. All counsel present, jury, and also present. Good afternoon.
Yay,
Mr.
California.
Davis is still under oath, and the people may continue.
They're so good today. I'm so happy.
I want to go back for a moment to slides 93 and 94. Looking first at slide 93, in the far left column under time UTC, it has the date of January 24th. But adjusting for UTC would change that date as well as the time back to the 23rd. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's clear. So again, where we see January 24th, above that column, it says time in parentheses, it says UTC, meaning it has not yet been adjusted for California time.
That's correct.
Again, if we look at the column where it says, I think it says CON dot date, that would be connection date.
Connection date and connection time, yes.
Yes. Again, those halfway down under the second gray area bar where it says the 24th, again, these dates along with the times would have to be adjusted for California time, correct?
That's right.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're clear. Not working? I'll use this.
I'm not sure why it's so glitchy. I'm going to see if it's something I can help with.
I also wanted to clarify, we've been talking a lot about an IP address. What is an IP address?
So an IP address essentially is an address that exists for devices and connections on the internet. And it's similar to a real-world physical address. It's the way the internet communicates from one point, point A to point B. And it routes the traffic from one address to another.
So, given that we're talking about an address, if we're talking about the home IP address, does that assist you in determining that in fact the defendant is accessing her home CCTV system or her DVR system because it's going through her home IP address as opposed to, let's say, a website?
The instructions that we saw from First Digital Surveillance made it very clear that in order to access that home DVR system, you had to input that specific IP address. And that IP address being similar to a physical address means it was unique. At least for that period of time, it was associated with the Sementilli residence.
Bless you. So that tells you that rather than being on her phone and accessing some website, the records that we've talked about in terms of her home IP address is showing that she's accessing her home IP address during that period of time that we were discussing.
Yes, because it's unique. And just to give you an example, if it was a different service, a different streaming service like YouTube or Netflix, those would all have different IP addresses, whereas I know that this IP address was located in the instructions to log in, and now on the flip side of that, inside the AT&T data records.
Okay. And again, within those data records showing the home IP address, we also know that to access your CCTV or your home surveillance cameras remotely, that you still have to go through your home IP address in order to access the DVR, the box itself, correct?
Yes, it's kind of like dialing direct to that box.
Yeah. All right, let's look at slide 97. And is this a screenshot that you took of the defendant's Instagram account?
Yes, it is.
And what did you note here?
So this is the account for the Instagram Monica _Sementilli as it appeared to the public on a computer for anyone logged into Instagram. This is what it would look like. And this was circa March 2017.
Okay. So not only is it under her name, but she also has a photograph of herself.
That's right.
And did you go through her Instagram account based on the records that were subpoenaed from, at that point, it would have been Facebook?
Yes.
And did you note that her Instagram account was also linked to her email or her Hotmail account?
Yes, I did.
Looking here at slide 98, is this a screenshot of some of the business records associated with the defendant's Instagram account?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you note here?
This account includes the basic subscriber information at the top, and in contrast to what we see in the public account, this is what the records look like when we get them directly from Facebook, Instagram, Meta. In this particular account, it was registered to the email address kalmatimo@hotmail.com.
And looking here at slide 99, which is part of the Celebrate extract from her iPhone 119, what do we see here?
This is an artifact from the iPhone, and it shows a user account that matches the same Instagram username we've been discussing, the Monica _Sementilli username.
And so in terms of her public Instagram account, were you able to download information directly from her public account?
Yes, because it was public, all the photographs and videos were accessible.
Okay. And in terms of that public account where you were able to find photographs and video, did you also note several photographs that the defendant posted of herself?
Yes.
And also photographs of her husband who was murdered, Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Looking here at slide 100, what does this depict?
Just to give an example of how voluminous these records are, this is an example of what the records look like when they come back from the companies, and they can be thousands of pages. It doesn't look like the Instagram many of us use when we log in, but this is kind of the back end on Meta's servers.
Okay. The actual business records that we get through subpoenas.
Yes.
Okay. And looking here at exhibit or slide 101, what does this depict?
So this shows that the content that was made public on the account was something that I downloaded just publicly, in addition to reviewing the records.
Okay. And I noticed that there are several locations where it's just a black box. That's where you blacked out photographs of Fabio Sementilli per court order, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
All right. Looking here at slide 102, where it's titled iCloud Photographs, what does this depict?
This is an example when we get the records back from Apple. Apple operates the iCloud service. They appear in a folder structure like this, and it can include whatever the user decides to back up. In this particular case, I've highlighted the cloud photo library, which would be the photos that are automatically uploaded into iCloud.
And it's titled according to what the user has titled, or is it an automatic title in this particular case where it says Cloud Photo Library?
It can be both.
Okay. And so, like we were talking about earlier, Apple's iCloud is a source for backing up any Apple products you might have, such as an iPhone.
Yes.
So if you were taking photographs using your iPhone, assuming that you had your settings set to back up to iCloud, they would also appear in your iCloud account.
Correct.
Looking at slide 103, bless you, what do we see here?
This is just a small sample of the, again, voluminous records from, in this case, Apple iCloud. There were a total of 1,300 images, and this is just a sample of what those images look like when we open up the folder.
Okay. And by the way, in terms of what you saw in the iCloud account, did those photographs or the content also match what was publicly posted in many occasions on the defendant's Instagram account?
In many occasions, yes.
Okay. Moving to slide 104, this appears to be a timeline between the dates of January 25th and February 14th of 2017. What have you indicated here?
I created this timeline, and the subsequent slides are also part of this extended timeline to show the public posts from the Instagram account and how they appear kind of over time and in the context of some other activity.
Okay. And the first slide is a photograph that we've seen in a prior photograph in your presentation. Were there also photographs above or included with each of the posts that we see here of Fabio Sementilli that you have redacted again per court order?
Yes.
And let me go back for 1 second to slide 103. When you look through the defendant's iCloud account, that was obtained via search warrant. You talked about there being approximately 1,300 images and video. Did many of those images or video also contain metadata or, let's say, geographic information as well as date and time?
Well, they all have some sort of metadata, and metadata is data about data. It's information that's attached to things like photos and videos that describe when it was taken, what sort of camera was used. And in some cases, there was also latitude and longitude coordinates.
Which would give you a location.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of the Instagram account, let's go on to slide 105. Again, between the dates of February 15th and 17th, we see that there are 3 posts. Did these posts, again, contain photographs of Fabio Sementilli that went along with the actual language that appears regarding Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, they did.
And slide 106, again, what did you indicate here?
The yellow indicates additional Instagram posts, and then the green are some notations pertaining to some physical surveillance that LAPD did.
So on the far left, or the 3 in yellow, to the left and to the center, between the dates, looks like February 18th and February 20th, those are posts that the defendant made on her public Instagram account. They were accompanied by photographs of Fabio Sementilli.
Yes.
The one on the right, February 21st, is an indication based on surveillance done by LAPD of the defendant along with Robert Baker being surveilled on Melrose at the Parlor Bar.
That's correct.
Okay. So we have the 18th and 20th posts about her husband, and then the February 21st being observed actually out with Mr. Baker at a bar.
Yes.
Okay. Looking at 107, what do we see here?
Similar to the previous slides, this is an extension of that broader timeline. In this particular case, it goes February 21st to February 22nd. Again, the green is a reference to some notes about physical surveillance that was done, and the yellow goes back to the Instagram posts following that.
Okay. So in green, again, surveillance of the defendant along with Baker at the dime bar, as well as kissing a bouncer outside of the dime bar on February 22nd, and then later in the morning on February 22nd, posts to the public Instagram account with respect to her dead husband.
Yes.
What do we see here in 108?
Further continuation of public Instagram posts, and originally these would be photographs of Mr. Fabio Sementilli. These posts run from February 23rd to February 28th, 2017.
And once again, these are public posts that the defendant put out through her public Instagram account, all of them about her dead husband between the dates of February 23rd to February 28th of 2017.
That's correct.
Okay. And what do we see in slide 109?
These are more Instagram posts, left to right, March 1st through March 6th, 2017.
Okay. And there's a photograph, it looks like to the left of the defendant. Is that right?
Yes.
And did these also contain, these posts contain photographs of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, they did.
And what about here, March 7th to March 9th? What did you depict in slide 110?
The first two posts left to right are Instagram posts, and the subsequent ones that are in green to the right are more physical surveillance.
Okay. So this is surveillance photos. The LAPD took during their following of the defendant and Baker on, looks like March 9th of 2017.
That's right.
Okay. And once again, did these posts from March 7th and 8th contain photographs of the victim in this case, Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, they did.
And what you've indicated here on the surveillance photos from SIS, is SIS a surveillance unit that assists the robbery homicide division detectives often?
Yes, they are.
And what does SIS stand for?
Special Investigative Section.
Okay. And in these photographs here of the defendant and Baker, they are photographs that were taken on that date, March 9th.
Yes, by the surveillance unit.
And on slide 111, what do we see here?
The first two date and time notations are from physical surveillance again, and the one on the far right is a public Instagram post.
Okay, and that public Instagram post, once again, did it contain a photograph of the defendant's husband, Fabio Sementilli?
Yes.
And the ones in green regarding SIS, that is observations or surveillance that was done by SIS of the defendant and Baker. The one to the far left on March 9th at 8:16 p.m. at a place called the Goodnight Bar, and the one in the center, March 9th at 9:15 at the Laugh Factory on Sunset Boulevard.
Yes, sorry, 9:05.
Thank you. And what do we see here in slide, I think this one says slide 112? Yes.
This is another section of time from March 14th through March 17th, including 5 Instagram posts that were made public.
Okay. And the one in the center, it looks like a portion of a wedding photo of the defendant. Was the defendant's husband also included in that photo, as well as photos of him in the other public Instagram posts on this particular slide?
Yes.
Okay. And what do we see here in slide 113, March 18th to March 21st?
More Instagram posts, 3 of them ranging from March 18th through March 21st, 2017.
And once again, same question. Did the defendant include photographs of her dead husband along with the posts that she put out there into the public realm?
Objection. Or at this point, I'm going to make objections. Cue us in.
So rule.
Yes.
Okay. And here we see on slide 114 the dates of March 22nd to March 23rd. What did you include here?
So the first post in yellow is a public Instagram post made by the Monica _Sementilli account. And then there are photographs from the Vidara Hotel and Spa and some photographs from Las Vegas that were obtained via the iCloud account.
Okay. So the Instagram post on March 22nd in yellow to the left, did that contain a photograph of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes.
And the other photographs are of the hotel and spa as well as the hotel room, and it looks like on the far right, cash out voucher for gambling in Las Vegas during the same time period?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to slide 115, the dates of March 24th to March 26th. What is this that we're seeing here?
The first thing we have on the far left is an Instagram post, and then this is followed by more photographs from the iCloud account.
Photographs of the defendant along with Robert Baker in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And with respect to the photographs from Las Vegas, was there also geolocation data that confirmed they were in Las Vegas when these photographs were taken?
For some of the photos, yes.
Looking at the next slide, I think it's 116. I think this is exactly what I was just asking you about. Between the dates of March 24th and March 26th, what does this show us?
So just as we were just discussing just now, these are the photographs from the iCloud account that did have metadata to include locational information that resolved to Las Vegas.
Looking at 117, was that, again, a second photograph that had metadata that proved that they were in Las Vegas during this time period?
It's a photograph that had the metadata that had those coordinates, yes.
Okay. Looking here at slide, I think this one's 118. What did you depict here?
It's another series of photographs on the left-hand side, March 26, 2017, from the iCloud. And then in green, some checkout information for the hotel and spa on March 26th at 10:41 a.m. And the next two posts were of public Instagram content.
And again, did those public Instagram posts contain photographs of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, they did.
And what do we see here in slide 119 that you've captured?
As before, these particular photographs from the iCloud had specific geotagged coordinates that came back to Las Vegas, and I've simply put them on the map here.
Okay. Along with the particular photograph of the defendant, Mr. Baker, and a third individual, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what do we see here in slide 120?
Same thing, another series of, another individual photograph from that series of the iCloud that had geotag coordinates to Las Vegas.
Okay. Along with a photograph of the defendant and Mr. Baker?
Yes.
And again, the same thing in slide 121 during the same type period?
Yes, same thing, geotag location to this particular photograph to Las Vegas.
And also in slide 122, another photograph of the two of them in Las Vegas?
Yes, same thing.
Okay. What do we see here in slide 130 for this timeline that goes from March 30th to April 6th?
Sorry, what was the number of the slide?
This one was 122. This one's 123, I believe. Is it?
You said 130.
Oh. 123?
Yes, for slide 123, the timeline goes from March 30th through April 6th, 2017, and includes 6 separate posts from the public Instagram account.
Okay. And again, did these posts contain photographs of the victim in this case, Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, they did.
Looking at slide 124, April 8th to April 16th of 2017. Once again, are these 6 separate Instagram posts on the defendant's public account?
Yes, that's correct.
And did each of those also contain photographs of the victim?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at slide, I think it's 125, 5 separate Instagram posts between April 19th and May 1st. Did these also come from the defendant's public Instagram account?
Yes, they did.
And the posts where we don't see a photograph, or we only see a half a photograph, did those again contain photographs of the victim in this case?
That's correct.
All right. May 1st through May 7th on slide 126. What are we looking at here?
So this is another mixed timeline excerpt. It starts from May 1st, goes through May 7th, and includes at first an Instagram post on the left, and then some information about a trip to Las Vegas again, followed by more public Instagram posts.
And again, did the metadata on any of these photographs that we see at the top 4 photographs, confirm the Las Vegas location?
Some of them.
And with respect to the Instagram posts from that same time period relating to Fabio Sementilli, did they also contain photographs of the victim in this case?
Yes.
So at the same time as the defendant's in Las Vegas, and these photographs are being taken because you found them in her iCloud account, you also have the public Instagrams and what she's posting at the same time.
Not at the exact same time, but overlapping in terms of dates.
Between this time period of May 1st to May 7th, 2017.
Yes.
And looking at slide 127, the timeline here between May 9th and May 14th, what do we see here?
These are more public Instagram posts.
And the ones relating, again, to Fabio Sementilli were there photographs that were posted on the public Instagram account belonging to the defendant.
Yes.
May 16th through May 22nd, slide 128. Can you describe for us what we see here?
Sure. 4 more Instagram posts, left to right.
Okay. And the one that we see a photograph, does that appear to be a letter or a note that was written by Fabio Sementilli to the defendant that she actually posted in her Instagram account?
Yes.
Signed Fabio?
Correct.
Okay. Looking here at slide 129, the timeline at the top has the dates of May 25th through May 31st. What do we see here?
So these are some artifacts pertaining to a trip to Myrtle Beach from May 25th to May 29th, 2017. It includes a receipt from Expedia.com about the travel plans and a photograph of Mrs. Sementilli out in Myrtle Beach area. And then on the right-hand side, public Instagram posts.
And again, with respect to the 2 yellow public Instagram posts that are dated May 29th and May 31st, the May 29th one, did that also contain a photograph of Fabio?
Yes.
Looking at slide 130, June 1st to June 7th. What do we see here?
On the left-hand side is another public Instagram post. And on the right-hand side now is some additional analysis from Mrs. Sementilli's associated LG tablet that contained some web search history, in this particular case from a website called Quora, Quora. And the title of the website, or the question that was posed to Quora, is how do you know if your cell phone is being tapped by police?
And on the far left, the Instagram post from June 1st, did that contain a photograph of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes, it did.
And the post towards the center in black, that's for, looks like a post regarding the Muir Awards, correct?
Yes.
And then what's the extraction report? That is relative to the Celebrite that was done on the LG tablet?
Yes, it's an export of that particular artifact, and then sitting right above that is a screenshot of what that website looks like.
Okay. Looking at slide 131, it says additional June 7th LG web searches. What did you indicate here?
Similar to the previous slide, there were some artifacts pertaining to the web search history on the LG tablet associated with Mrs. Sementilli. And these particular websites were about inquiries in regards to police and our ability to read iMessages, spying on cell phones, and the tapping of phones.
What do we see here in slide 1? I think it's 132.
Yes, this is a screenshot of one of those artifacts from the web history I just discussed.
Okay. So the actual, if you were to plug in or query what you saw on the LG pad through the Celebrite extraction, this is the article that would come up?
Correct.
Okay. And what do we see here in slide 133?
This is another screenshot of the particular website that was an artifact on the LG tablet.
Again, 5 things to know about police cell phone spying.
Yes,
So relating to the same subject that we were talking about.
that's right.
Okay. And what about here in slide 134?
Similar to the previous couple of slides, this is also a screenshot from an artifact off of the LG tablet, and this is a screenshot of a Quora, a question that was posed to the internet about which type of phones could be tapped.
Okay. Looking at slide 135, what do we see here?
Another screenshot pertaining to the artifacts left behind on the LG tablet. This one was from a website, and the article was 6 possible signs your cell phone may be tapped.
Okay. And that's the article that would come up if you put in that query?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what do we see here in slide 136 relative to the defendant's Apple iPhone, number 119?
So this is but one of many log entries in the iPhone associated with Mrs. Sementilli regards to a web service called Lifestyle Lounge. And
When you say many, can you give us an estimate?
sure, there's actually a number on here. So there were 1,572 log entries in the web history for Lifestyle Lounge.
So that means that from the defendant's iPhone, she logged into this particular website over 1,500 times.
Either logged into or navigated to, depending.
Either way, access that particular website.
Yes.
Is there also, did you look into this Lifestyle Lounge website?
Yes.
And is there actually a chat feature within the website itself where you can talk to other individuals who have also logged on to this website?
Yes, so once you create an account with this particular service, a user can log in, and then internal to the platform, the website, you can have a chat with other people.
Your Honor, I have 3 pages that are titled Lifestyle Lounge. There's a 1, 2, and 3 in the bottom left corner. Could they be marked, please, as People's 162 collectively?
Yes.
Showing you the first page. Is this the website for the Lifestyle Lounge?
Yes, it is.
And does it actually indicate on the first page of the website itself that you can also not just chat, but you can video chat with other individuals through this website?
That's right.
Showing you page 2 of this website. What do we see here?
These are various user profiles or sample user profiles associated with accounts on Lifestyle Lounge.
And with respect to this particular website, besides being able to chat or video chat with individuals, is there also the ability to instant message individuals through the website?
Yes.
Showing you the third page. Is this also part of a screenshot that you took from that same Lifestyle Lounge website?
Yes, this is from their help page, for lack of a better word, provides instructions.
If one were to log on to that website, let's say from a remote location outside of your house, that would direct you directly to the website, not through your home's IP address, correct?
If I may clarify.
Yes.
If you're on a mobile device and you're out and about and you navigate to Lifestyle Lounge, you will be accessing Lifestyle Lounge's servers, Lifestyle Lounge's IP addresses, not your home IP address.
Okay. All right. I want to direct your attention to the date of August 25th of 2017. Were you assisting the investigating officers that day in recovering some evidence here in the criminal courts building?
Yes, I did.
And on that particular day, August 25th of 2017, were you and one of the investigating officers looking through some of the belongings relating to the defendant that were obtained from her property bag from the sheriff's department that runs this building?
Yes.
And can you tell us, did you meet that day with a Sergeant Robert Westfall?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And where, what did you exactly look at that day? What were you provided?
They were essentially jail letters, jail correspondence between Mr. Baker and Mrs. Sementilli.
Okay. And were those, as I said, taken from the defendant's property bag that was kept by sheriffs while she was in court here, in this courtroom?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do with respect to the property bag?
I opened the bag and withdrew the letters.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you note at that point?
So I reached my hand into the bag, and almost immediately as I pulled the letters out, I realized they were coated in some sort of substance.
Okay. Oh, some type of wet substance?
Yes.
Further.
Mr. Johnson. Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Officer Davis.
Good afternoon, sir.
I have my own copy of the slides we're referring to. I believe it's Exhibit 156. So I'm just going to connect, if you don't mind, so we can go through some of them, not all of them, some, okay?
Sure.
created this to say as a helpful way to visualize some of the connections between devices and accounts and things like that, correct?
That's right.
So here we have a link chart, and this only shows Monica Sementilli, right?
Yes.
And here we have so the next slide, so I'm now referring to slide 9, that was slide 8 for the record. This is now slide 9 if you can see it at 156. This is a link chart you did and shows links between various accounts, and it's links between various accounts of Robert Baker and Christopher Austin, correct?
That's correct.
There's no links shown here with Christopher Austin and Monica Sementilli, are there?
No.
And from all the evidence you've looked at, you've seen no communications or calls between Christopher Austin and Monica Sementilli, have you?
No, I haven't.
You've not seen any emails or WhatsApp or messages of any kind between Christopher Austin and Monica Sementilli, have you?
That's correct.
So there are obviously communications between Christopher Austin and Robert Baker, and there's these connections we see here on this slide, correct?
Yes.
But nothing similar between Christopher Austin and Monica Sementilli, right?
That's right.
You also talked about Google location services in relation to Robert Baker, right?
Yes.
And this is showing the different methods that essentially you can track a device, is that better said? Or different methods that log the location information for a device.
It's Google's way of logging that particular location.
Okay, so it happens when you connect to Wi-Fi, for example. It can happen when you connect to Wi-Fi.
It can when there's a connection. It also happens when there is no connection to Wi-Fi, simply by probing all the Wi-Fi connections in the area.
I see. And it also can track the location using GPS and cell site, right?
Yes.
So when it gives location data, that's an approximation, isn't it? It's not necessarily an exact location.
Depending on the methodology used, it can be very approximate. That would be cell towers. Cell towers I like to describe as being kind of a city block. And then Wi-Fi is more narrow, but essentially a residence. And out of the three of those, GPS is the most precise, typically 3 to 10 meters. So fairly precise with GPS, but it all depends on what's being measured at any given time.
So it varies depending on the method used.
Yes.
You talked about this slide, this is slide 13, being the actual the actual data, correct? The actual location data.
That's right.
And here, it's very, very small, but at the top it talks about display radius field, correct?
Yes.
And it says it reflects an estimated uncertainty value regarding the reported coordinates, correct?
Yes.
So is that reflecting that even though it gives reported coordinates, there is then an estimated uncertainty as to whether it's exactly at those coordinates?
Yes.
And it says then the next sentence, its value depends on a great many factors and is an approximation sufficient for its intended product uses. See that?
Yes.
Now, the display radius is in column D, correct?
Yes.
And if you write down here, it's measured in meters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, it sort of varies depending on the method used. So we have here GPS, Wi-Fi, and cell. Those three different methods used, yes?
Yes.
So, for example, this is according to what you said, GPS, display radius of 9 meters, correct?
Correct.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to try and go more detail about exactly what this means.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we have GPS there, it gives latitude and longitude coordinates in columns B and C, doesn't it?
Yes.
And then it gives a display radius of 9 meters, right?
Yes.
So, is it correct that what you do is you take that latitude and longitude coordinate right? And then you would draw a line of 9 meters going out from that, yes?
Yes.
That would be a radius of a circle, and then you essentially draw a circle all the way around, correct?
If I was mapping the radius, yes.
And then the location device could be anywhere within that circle, correct?
Approximately, yes.
Right, because it's an approximation.
It is an approximation.
And so we see there, with Wi-Fi, it's a larger number, it's 50 meters, correct?
Yes.
So you take the exact coordinates of latitude and longitude, but then you have to draw a line out 50 meters from those coordinates, correct?
Yes.
And that then gives a circle, and that's going to be a much larger circle, isn't it?
Yes.
And it could be, the device could be, from that location data, anywhere within that 50-meter radius circle, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And as you said, with cell sites, it's even larger, and there's an example you did here, well, one example, it's one of the pieces of data here is cell 947 meters, correct?
That's right.
So that's display radius of nearly a kilometre. Right. And the
Yes.
device could be anywhere within a circle with display radius of a whole kilometre in that case, correct?
That's right.
So we're also talking about Wi-Fi, and this is Baker's device, isn't it? Samsung S4.
Yes, it is.
As you testified earlier, it shows that he had the Sementilli home Wi-Fi stored on his device, correct?
Yes.
And as you said, that's where you sort of store you put in the name and the password, and then it's stored for, I think you said stored for that point in time going forward, correct?
Correct.
So as it's stored in the device, it would automatically connect to the within range of the Wi-Fi because it's stored in it, correct?
Yes.
Now, you also talked a little bit about Wi-Fi range. Obviously, that can vary, correct?
Sure.
And as you said, it can go half a block or so. Those are the words you used.
That's the example I like to use. Yes.
Right, okay. And with the location data we've seen on this slide, the display radius, when you see location data that's from Wi-Fi there, that's anywhere within a circle of 50 meters radius, correct?
Yes.
Now, you also said, we had a look at this slide, which showed an example of some of the location data of Baker's device. And the coordinates are the red box on the left, correct?
That's right.
So that's showing the coordinates of Baker's device from the location data, correct?
Right.
The Sementilli home is on the right-hand side, right?
That's correct.
And that's showing that there's a connection to Wi-Fi, but it's all you can say is it's in the vicinity of a Sementilli residence. You don't know if it's inside the residence or in front of the residence or outside the residence, right?
No, I don't know.
Now we also saw this video. No, I'm sorry. This video on slide 18. So this is mapping all of the various location data you have for Baker's device over a period of time, correct?
Yes.
And putting it on this map. And in this map you have an X showing the Sementilli residence, right?
That's right.
Now, when we play the video, jump to the next slide on this thing, sorry. It gives these blue dots, correct?
Yes.
So, some of these blue dots are obviously not on top of the X, they're sort of down the road from it, correct?
That's right.
They're in proximity to the Sementilli residence, they're not showing that it's actually in the Sementilli residence, right?
Correct.
And all these blue dots, even then, they're approximations, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They are each going to have their own display radius, correct?
That's right.
They're going to each have their own circle that vary in size depending on what method is used for the location data of that blue dot, correct?
That is correct.
And the device could be anywhere within that circle, correct?
Yes.
But you haven't shown those circles of display radius in this picture, have you?
Not in this one.
So when we go on, playing the video, there are obviously dots that are sort of nowhere near the Sementilli residence, but they could show driving towards the residence, correct?
That's right.
Because this is, as you said, not separate times, but it could be part of the same occasion, like a cluster. Like one afternoon, these dots could all be one afternoon, correct?
Like a route of travel.
I see. So, keep doing this now. Here's a cluster. Okay. So some of these are not on the Sementilli residence, correct?
That's right.
Some of them are, but again, each of these would have their own circle, wouldn't they?
Yes.
And so even though they're on top of the Sementilli residence, you still can't say for sure whether that is showing the device in the residence or outside the residence, correct?
That is correct.
So for all of this location data, for each of these occasions where it's in proximity to the Sementilli residence, this could be showing his device down the street or round the corner from the Sementilli residence, for example.
Well, that's possible.
Yes, that is possible. It's consistent with the data, correct?
It is one interpretation of the data.
Right, and you don't know either way.
Don't know for sure.
So, as an example, as a hypothetical, on any of these occasions where we see this location data clustered around the house, it could be that Robert Baker's device is with him when he's parked in his car on the street outside the home, for example.
That is possible.
And also, these blue dots only show Robert Baker's location data, correct?
These blue dots.
Sorry, his device, or Baker's device's location data. Is that a fair effect?
Yeah, very specific about that. This is the oeginc@gmail.com account.
Let me rephrase to be necessarily precise as I should be. These blue dots are only showing Robert Baker's OEG1 next to his device location data.
The OEG Inc.
OEG Inc.
Yes.
Thank you. It's not showing location data of any of Monica Sementilli's devices, is it?
No.
It's not showing any location of Fabio Sementilli's devices or the daughter's devices, is it?
No, it's not.
So, you don't know for any of these occasions where Robert Baker's device is showing up in the vicinity of the Sementilli residence, you don't know where any of those people are at that time from this data.
Not from this data.
And it could be that Robert Baker, his device, is outside the home, so he's parked on the street with the vicinity of the Sementilli residence, where Monica Sementilli is not even there, correct?
That is possible.
For any of these location data points, correct?
If we're basing it just on this data, yes.
All right, let's skip ahead a little bit to these Facebook conversations. This is slide 23. So I keep forgetting that Facebook is now Meta, but it's the same thing, correct?
That's right.
Facebook Meta. I'm sure we all use Facebook, but just to clarify a few points. Facebook, you can publicly post things, can't you?
Yes.
You could have your profile that posts things to the outside world that anyone can see. Well, post things that can be seen by other people.
By other Facebook users, yes.
But then you also have separately Facebook conversations, and that's private. It's more akin to texting, is that right?
That's right.
So it's between one user and another user, right?
Yes, or multiple users sometimes.
These communications, though, they weren't multiple users. They were just Robert Baker and Michael Spence, for example, correct?
Yes.
And you have no evidence that Monica Sementilli was ever part of these communications, correct?
Not these particular ones.
No evidence that she ever contributed to any of these chats, correct?
Correct.
And it's not public, so this is not something that would be seen by other Facebook users, right?
That's right.
it would have to have been forwarded to her for her to see any of this, correct?
Or shown.
Or shown, absolutely, or shown. No evidence that that happened here, right?
No.
And that's exactly the same for this Facebook conversation between Robert Baker and Ron Ray, right? It's a private conversation between only those two people, correct?
Correct.
So, for example, slide 29, Robert Baker says, no, not yet living with her, but it's coming soon. That is purely coming from Robert Baker, isn't it?
Robert Baker's account.
Robert Baker's account. There's no evidence that Monica Sementilli even saw that message, right? Or contributed to it.
Nothing I could see.
And same we have here. That top message, well, I miss you and still do, but until I lock this down, ain't going nowhere. And again, that just comes through from Robert Baker, right?
From his account, yes.
His account. I want to move on to the messaging and the encryption you talked about, you testified to, correct?
Yes.
I think you said, I'm really sorry, I caught 3 of the C's, I think, that you were an expert in. It's computers, cryptography, and what was the last one?
Communication.
Communications. And so cryptography, the middle one, that's encryption, right?
Yes, better known as encryption.
And I think you said you had 2 decades in that field, correct?
Just shy of 2 decades working in digital investigations in general.
Right, which includes this encryption element.
Sure.
Now, you also testified, you said many smartphone apps use encryption, don't they?
Yes, they do.
The default messaging app when you have iPhone is iMessage, isn't it?
Yes.
That's when you have those blue text bubbles if you're using iPhone.
Right.
iMessage, that's encrypted, isn't it?
It can be. Depends on whether a user wants to back it up to iCloud. I've seen in some of my investigations us get unencrypted content.
Well, isn't it true that iMessage, as comes standard, isn't encrypted, it's end-to-end encrypted?
It depends on how the user has their settings. So if the iMessage, and again, we're talking also about 2017, not 2025. If the iMessage was backed up to the cloud back in 2017, in some cases, I, as the investigator writing a search warrant, can see the content of those messages if they were backed up.
Okay, but I'm just talking about, regardless of whether it's backed up or not, iMessage is end-to-end encrypted, isn't it?
It is today.
Well, wasn't it end-to-end encrypted from when it was first introduced in 2011?
Again, based on my experience with some of these investigations, seeing the content of the messages backed up in iCloud, I would say no, but I'd have to do further research on that.
Well, I'm not asking you about what you've experienced or whether you can end up actually seeing the messages because you pulled them from the iCloud. You said that you're an expert in encryption. It's one of your areas of expertise, and nearly 2 decades in that field. Isn't it correct that iMessage was end-to-end encrypted from when it was introduced in 2011?
So,
Yeah, I apologize, counsel. I don't have the answer. If it was end-to-end encrypted, just based on my experience, I wouldn't have been able to see the messages.
All right. Well, you've accepted it is end-to-end encrypted, certainly now, correct?
Yes, they've increased their encryption.
So do you have an iPhone?
I do.
I also have an iPhone. So if we were messaging iPhone to iPhone, we'd be sending iMessages, wouldn't we?
Yes.
And if we were messaging iPhone to iPhone just completely normally, that would be using encrypted communications, wouldn't it?
Yes. Today?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk about Viber. Now, we do know when Viber introduced encryption because you brought this to our attention from this blog post, correct?
Yes.
Viber announced it was introducing end-to-end encryption on April 19th, 2016, correct?
That's right.
So before then, before April 19th, Viber was not end-to-end encrypted, right?
I don't know if they implemented it on exactly that date, but according to their announcement, that's when they went to that system.
Right, so it follows that before then, it wasn't end-to-end encrypted, correct?
Well, sometimes companies will soft launch new features, and I don't know if they started it for some users before then or not. Again, I apologize, I can't get very specific about certain things.
All right, okay. But this is the public blog post which says, today we're excited to announce that our users will be able to securely communicate across all of their devices through end-to-end encryption. We've been working on this for a long time. We're proud that users who can't use Viber without fear of their message being accepted. There's a one-to-one group message on a call or desktop, mobile, tablet, and that was on April 19, 2016, correct?
That's when they announced it to the world.
And you saw no evidence of any earlier announcements, right?
No, I didn't.
So you said you have this next slide, Monica Sementilli's iCloud. That shows when she installed Viber, correct?
That's right.
And you said it was in April, but can you see the exact date there?
April 9th, 2016.
April 9th, 2016. Okay, so when Monica installed Viber on April 9th, 2016, that was before Viber even announced on April 19th end-to-end encryption, correct?
That's correct.
So it follows, doesn't it, that Monica Sementilli couldn't have been installing it to use it for end-to-end encryption if, at the time, that wasn't a feature that even existed or had been announced, correct?
One objective calls for speculation.
Sustained.
She installed Viber on April 9th before end-to-end encryption had even been announced by Viber, correct?
Objections cumulative.
I'll allow that.
Before it had been announced via their blog. Yes.
All right. Now, you say I'm jumping a bit ahead, but Baker had and was using Viber as well, correct? Robert Baker.
That's right.
And this slide, I've jumped ahead now to slide 56. You say at the bottom there, he had used Viber since 2015, correct?
That's right.
I want to show you part of the data extraction from Robert Baker's phone, which was brought to our attention by another prosecution expert, that's Jake Gibson.
Your Honor, I object to counsel testifying.
That's correct. You want to show him something? You can say you're going to show him something.
Absolutely, I'll show my now.
Except you don't have to say the whole history of it, because that is you testifying.
Understood. Showing you People's Exhibit. Sorry, I'm just going to Here we go. Just 1 moment, if you don't mind. Sorry. Showing you People's Exhibit 105, Your Honour. This is the Jake Gibson PowerPoint presentation. This is slide number 50. Do you recognise this as an extract from the Celebrite phone extraction of Robert Baker's device?
Yes.
And it talks about an installed application Viber there, correct?
That's right.
And it gives the date when it was installed, or purchase date, August 24, 2015, correct?
That's right.
And so that would show that Robert Baker installed Viber on his device on August 24, 2015, correct?
Yes.
So, If Robert Baker installed Viber August 24, 2015, that was nearly 8 months before Viber even announced their end-to-end encryption, correct?
That's correct.
We also know that Fabio Sementilli was killed on January 23rd, 2017, don't we?
Yes.
So, if Monica Sementilli installs Viber on her device on April 9, 2016, that's 9.5 months before Fabio Sementilli was killed, is dead.
Yes.
And if Robert Baker installed Viber on his device on August 24, 2015, that's 1 year and 5 months before Fabio Sementilli was killed, correct?
That's right.
So both Monica Sementilli and Robert Baker installed Viber long before Fabio Sementilli was killed. It's not like they installed it just a month or two before, correct?
That's right.
Now, you also showed some slides which show evidence, artifacts, that Viber was being used from April 2016 onwards, correct?
That's right.
We have evidence showing Viber being continuously updated from April 2016 through to January 2017, correct?
Yes.
That is shown. On this slide, correct?
Yes.
Continued Viber app update from April 20, 2016 to January 4, 2017, correct?
Yes.
It shows Viber's being used by Monica Sementilli throughout that time, correct?
The app has been updated through the Apple Store.
And here, record entry from the AT&T web history, 433 entries of Viber between April 10, 2016 and January 17, 2017, correct?
Yes.
We've then shown slides, your slides, which talks about the Viber business records, correct?
Yes.
And it says that there were 5,752 messages between Monica Sementilli's device and Robert Baker's device using Viber throughout the month of January 2017, correct?
That's right.
But we've seen evidence that Viber was installed a lot earlier, correct? By Monica in April 2016.
Robert, you're not going to object. It's cumulative.
I don't know. I'll take your objection under submission. You may finish your question.
We've seen that these records are only for January 2017, correct?
Yes, I believe they start the last day of December, but essentially,
They only show 1 month, January 2017, correct?
correct.
But Viber was installed by Monica in April 2016, correct?
Same objection?
Right. And there's evidence that, as we've shown, it was being updated and there were web history from April 2016 through to January 2017, correct?
Same objection?
I love this.
Yes.
Right. So that you don't have, it's not been presented, any of the records showing the number of Viber messages for any of the other dates, such as April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December 2016, correct?
From Viber.
From Viber, exactly.
Correct.
So we don't know how many Viber messages were sent in any of those months, whether it was 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. We just don't know those months, do we?
Don't know.
So we don't know if 5,752 messages in January 2017 was any different from the number of messages sent in any of those other dates, in those other months, do we?
No, don't know.
It could be, we don't have the records, that they were sending just as many messages in those other months as they do in January 2017, correct?
It's possible.
Right, now this shows, you just looked at the messages on Viber, this shows the Viber calls, correct?
Yes.
This is your PowerPoint, this is slide 52, just for the record, sorry. So this is now showing Viber calls, but again, this is only for the month of January 2017, correct?
That is correct.
You don't show any records showing how many calls there were in those other months from April 2016 to January 2017, correct?
That's right.
So again, there's no point of comparison. We don't know whether this was more or less calls per month than any of the other months, right?
Sure.
Because you don't have the records for the other months for Viber calls and Viber messages, you cannot say there was any higher usage of Viber in January 2017 than there were for any of those other months, can you?
I'm going to inject argumentative.
Sustained.
Well, let's look at where we do have records. And this is the record for January 2017. Now this graph, this is slide 54, shows the number of messages sent on each day in January 2017. Is that right?
It's a graph that encompasses that entire period.
But we have various peaks and troughs on this graph, correct?
Yes.
Now those peaks and troughs, each one of those represents a single day in January 2017, correct?
That's right.
The higher the peak, the larger the number of messages sent on that day, right?
Yes.
And you split it out. Red is messages sent by Monica Sementilli, yellow are messages sent by Robert Baker, or at least their devices, using Viber, correct?
Yes.
So this trough, this point, that is January 23rd, 2017, correct?
It's whenever the records for that period end. I can't remember the exact date. It's 22nd or 23rd.
So 22nd or 23rd.
Can you put up the other slide that shows the actual rows and columns from the Viber record?
Is it this one? Which one would you like?
So the 22nd here. Thank you.
Sorry, this is about call history, but this graph is about messaging, isn't it?
Yes.
So you were referring to slide 52, but that's only to do with calls, correct?
Right, that's called.
Is this what you were referring to? This is slide 51, that's to do with messages, right?
Right. I would have to look at the exact last line from the messages in the record.
Okay. But it looks like this point here is January 21st. So it looks like 22nd or 23rd, correct?
It would encompass the entire record period.
Well, this point here is lower than all these other peaks, correct? Up here.
That's correct.
So all these other days in January have more messages sent between Robert Baker and Monica Sementilli than this day here, correct?
Yes.
If we were to take that, January 22nd or 23rd, right? That is actually a day in January where there is less or fewer messages between each other than the majority, nearly all the other days of January, correct?
I wouldn't say near compared to all the other days of January, but it does go through those peaks and valleys, and it appears to come down near the end.
Well, for example, look at this yellow one. That is lower than everything else except for this one other day, correct?
Right.
So that would be nearly all the others. Correct?
Yes.
Is it a good time, council, to take our recess? We will be for 15 15 minutes. The admission applies.
It's been a long one today. Whew, they're on their final break. I think we are caught up. Yeah, that was all live, so we can't skip over anything. Right now, I'm looking up what you sent me, Kathy, that person's channel, so I don't forget it. Like, hurry and put it in now so I don't have to go back and look, because I will not remember that name. I would think by this point that the jury probably is leaning a certain way. I think they have heard enough to know that some shady things are and have been going on. And we really haven't even got into a lot of the comments and information of different decisions that Monica made. But that's coming. So I think if they're already leaning that she's guilty, I think it's going to be a snowball effect of guilty. I found it. Thank you for sending that to me. It's weird that they block that and don't allow it. I went and checked my settings because I was like, well, maybe I need to change something. But there wasn't any settings for the chat like this. So must just be YouTube. But I have found it. I'm going to watch that tonight too. So tonight, as it sits, I'm going to start Gabby Petito's docuseries, Netflix. And then I have to hunt down Monica and Robert Baker in the backseat of the police vehicle when they were arrested. I cannot believe they didn't play that when the officer was on the stand today, and he was the one who did that, put them in, and they were back there whispering and so shady, and they didn't play it again. They only played it in one of the first days of this trial. So I will play it again. And then, yeah, my third one will be watching the Natalie juror, which is going to be crazy. I love when jurors decide to speak out. I know I said in the chat, but I would love for a Sarah Boone juror to step forward. It's so hard. You can't find these people. And, you know, if they don't want to talk to the press, they don't have to. But it is nice when they do, because it's just interesting to hear what their process was and if there was defining moments of them changing how they felt or solidifying what they already were feeling. So this will be fun to watch. Oh my goodness. Is that right though? It's 3 hours? This is 3 hours with this juror? Oh my gosh, she has a lot of videos of Natalie's. Cool. I'm excited. Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't have cared if you posted it in the chat or anything. I don't know why YouTube wants to stop that. Yeah. Did you see, I was saying this earlier in the chat, but now I'm not sure if you were here during that part, but did you see in the beginning of this trial when they were arrested and it literally showed them sitting in the back whispering and being like, did you do this? Did you delete that? And they were saying all this stuff. I can't believe they missed that opportunity to play it right then and there. I mean, yes, it was already played at the start of the trial, but you should play it again, especially when the officer who was involved finally took the stand. It was a missed opportunity. Did you say that there were 2 jurors that spoke to this guy? Let me see. I'll go look. I think you said 2. I need to buy reading glasses or something. Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, that is one of the things that I will get done tonight. As I'm watching the Gabby Petito docuseries, I will be doing this other work because these have been long days of trial, so it's going to take me forever to find it. But I am pretty confident it's somewhere in the first 3 days, so I guess that's better than not all 13 or 12, whatever we're at right now. Yeah, well, hey, I understand. It's really hard to be multitasking and then actually catching everything. Um, Especially when I have to like run to go get the kids from school. That definitely is an hour that I can't get back unless I watch it later, but then I'm not caught up for the people who are still alive. So I love it when people leave comments of things that they think I would want to know or that's important because it makes it so I don't have to start over and everybody else is on the same page except me. Man, he did a lot of Natalie Corcoran. A lot. Oh my gosh, it's still going. Now I'm just curious. I have to count it because there's so many here. "13 videos of Nelly." That's crazy. Wow. I wonder if he's like from that area. That would make sense if he was able to get a couple of jurors to come talk. Maybe people know him in that area. Very interesting. Oh, she was local to him? I didn't even read that. That was good. Yeah, that's what I figured. It probably had to be, because how else did you get all this information and actually get jurors to agree to come on? All right, that makes so much more sense. Well, good for him, though. It's really hard to get jurors to want to talk about these different things. Well, if he's funny, though, then it makes for a good thing that the videos are longer, more entertained. The verdict for the ASAP Rocky trial is going to be read at 7:20. It is gonna be here before we know it. I think he's gonna be found not guilty. But I guess we'll see. That makes sense. I love that the dad who took the witness stand, it was his son that Natalie had claimed that they kept that in her house for the son. And the dad was like, absolutely not. We never gave her anything like that to keep just in case. No. Can't be any clearer than that. So where did it come from? Nobody needed it. Change this time for the ASAP trial. It's gonna be close. I'm gonna stay on this one as long as I can, but I will be hopping over to ASAP when that starts. I didn't even hear that he had a pump. Well, then she really didn't have that for the right reasons. I mean, she did lie a lot, though. It's unbelievable. I'm really happy with how today's trials all worked out. I feel like we got new information and interesting things from all of the ones that we've kind of been seeing. And then even so, the Zachary Hughes one really never got started. I feel like talking to one witness was not a lot. But hey, at least maybe tomorrow they'll be on time and we'll get more. And I like that we're ending this with a verdict. I would imagine, sorry, keep moving. I would imagine that it's not going to be guilty. And then with these other trials slowly coming to an end, I'm thinking that the Zachary Hughes trial will probably, the jury will like deliberate for 2 days. That's my guess. I'm not even going to give a guess for the Monica Sementilli one. I feel like it would take them a long time just because it's so much information and they have to comb back through it all. And that would take up a lot of their time, no matter which way they were leaning. I did think it was funny when Zach's attorney in the beginning of today was saying he didn't have a beard. The guy who was on a bicycle did, but Zachary didn't. Couldn't be the same person. In Zachary's mugshot, he has a beard. Like, what? And even as he sat there in court, he has a beard going on. I'm like, I think he's wrong about that. His mugshot shows a beard. All right, I'm gonna call it for today for Monica's trial. It was gonna stay until the 7:20 mark, which is one of the times that I think it's court TV is saying, but another one is saying it could be sooner. So if anything important happens with the last witness probably of the day, I mean, it's going to be a very short one because it's the day's almost over for them. But I'm going to go ahead and get that started. I'll post anything if we miss anything interesting for Monica's, and we will be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully we won't have to wait an hour and a half or 2 hours, 2 hours and a half.
Officer Davis, again, you're still under oath.
I have to let it go. All right, like I said, if it's interesting, I will make the video when I'm done hearing the verdict for ASAP. But if you've been with me, I really appreciate you hanging out with me, and I will see you, if not tonight, I will see you tomorrow.